was out for what I thought was being my last ride of the year on the 9th of December 2012. Just merrily going round on my motorbike, enjoying the scenery, thinking, yeah, this is good. And I could see the car coming down from the left-hand side. So I moved over to the centre of the road. The next thing I know, she hit me. And I said my usual famous word when things go wrong was, shit. What I didn't realise that when the lady had hit me, she crushed my foot into the side of the engine on the bike. And I'd never had any pain like that in my life. It was so painful. I know it sounds strange, I couldn't cry. Consultant Mr. Young says if we don't get him in now, he's going to have compartment syndrome. So he was obviously worried about losing the leg. So he went in, had my first operation that Sunday evening to fix it all in place, and I woke up the next morning with a cage on my leg and holes drilled into my shin bone just to hold it all in place as a temporary fix, because they didn't really know what to do because they'd never had an injury like this before to deal with. Amputation was always on the cards for a long time because they couldn't work out whether the foot was actually going to knit together. And I had to go and see their consultant, Professor Moran, who very bluntly said to me, I'll take your leg off for you. What's your problem? And I'll get you walking in 6 months' time. Which is a bit of a shock because you expect to be treated a little bit more kindly than that by a doctor. But he was very matter of fact. And when he said that, it was not what you wanted to hear. I came out of one call in Beeston in Nottinghamshire, and I got back to the car and I cried my eyes out and I said, what am I trying to prove? I just can't do this anymore. So for me to admit defeat is a lot. To suddenly change your job after 28 years and possibly never work again is a big shock. And to become dependent on people as well. Because when I first came back from hospital, about the only thing I could really do, I had to be crude, was basically wipe my own bottom.
Had a huge impact on the whole family because we had to deal with the mood swings, which were quite severe at times, and there's depression. So we had to always be there to catch and push him forward and keep positive. We had deep, dark days with him that he just couldn't, I don't think he could cope.
It got so bad that I actually had a nervous breakdown. Just woke up the day after my daughter got married and cried my eyes out. I just didn't want to get out of bed, didn't want to do anything.
Wayne was discharged from hospital in January 2013. He was allocated some follow-up physiotherapy, but no proper rehabilitation had been put in place. In personal injury claims, the personal injury protocol recommends that an insurer who is likely to be paying compensation funds rehabilitation for the injured party. The idea is to maximise the recovery of the injured person. So in Wayne's case, it was essential that we looked at not just his physiotherapy needs, but also what other treatment he might need. He was clearly suffering a lot of psychological trauma as a result of the accident. He was very distressed. His life had been turned upside down, and he was struggling very much to cope with being at home. So we were able to organise counselling, reflexology, physiotherapy, all at times convenient to him and at locations convenient to him. There were two essential parts to the claim. Firstly, promoting Wayne's recovery, and the second point was managing his financial situation whilst he was recovering, because Wayne had been employed as a territory manager. His company had paid him for the first 6 months, but after that there was no obligation to pay him other than half pay for further 6 months, and then he was on no pay. So it was essential, therefore, to get some interim payments organised. During the lifetime of the case, we had an arrangement with the insurers of the other party that they would pay regular interim payments to meet Wayne's expenses and needs. It was always was going to be quite a long case, because the concern was whether his foot would ever recover or whether he might need an amputation procedure. And that probably wasn't known until at least 3 years after his injury.
Knew from his demeanour, his manner, the way he spoke to you as well, he treated you as a person rather than just a case. You know, he knew what you were going through. I think we hit it off because of a pretty similar type of person. You know, very methodical, black is black and white is white. There's no sort of grey area in between, which is brilliant for me because we knew where we stood all the way through the case.
Chris was amazing, because often it's the people around the injured person that don't get any support. Wayne got everything he needed. Chris sorted it. It was brilliant. We were just there, and sometimes just having Chris to talk to and say, yeah, you know, you will be feeling that, that's fine, or, you know, we could do this to help, and it helped the whole family.
Assessed for what is known as a spinal cord stimulator. He attended a 3-week rehabilitation inpatient programme, all of which was to help him manage his pain. The spinal cord stimulator wasn't suitable for him because Wayne and Helen still have desire to travel, and it's very restrictive in terms of travelling abroad, and it was very intrusive into his lifestyle. For all the fact that he has chronic pain, Wayne still attends the gym 4 days a week. He tries to be as active as he can, so it was to promote his rehabilitation that we focused on pain management as opposed to actually solving the pain problem itself.
He's a different person than who he was before the accident. Completely different. He's more chilled now, he's a bit more relaxed. He doesn't see everything as a fight. He's calmer. And once we finished the case, that was a huge change for him. He actually sat and, I quite like life now. This is okay.